a bunch of weird people. Not many wise, not many noble, not many of good reputation. But enough ink in most of your bodies to write a New Testament. As the Spirit of God begins to move in the worship, if you feel an urge to come and pray, to come and make an altar, you do that. Okay? The agenda is Jesus. Are you hearing me?
God has done for Randy and I is give us a wonderful body of people like you. We consider you family. You are family. And we love you. And we love what God is doing through you and how He's using you.
I surprised Roger and told him I wasn't going to say anything. My North Central people go, what's happened to her? But I, like Roger, want to tell you how much we love you all. And how much we see the Spirit of God in you. And can see that God has His hand upon you. As you go forward to do what God's called you to do, not a man, not an organization, but the very God Himself who made you.
He says, young man, he said, do you know the proper attire to wear at church? And the young man said, well, no, sir. He says, young man, this is a church of integrity. He says, I want you to go home and I want you to pray about what God would have you to wear to church. So the young man left the church and he went home. And the following Sunday, the young man appeared again in the same clothes, in the same condition. And he came to the same spot with the empty chair and he sat down. And the pastor looked at him, he thought, I don't believe it. Again, the pastor delivered a message. And after the message, he went down and he looked at the young man and he says, young man, I thought I asked you to go home and pray and ask God what the proper attire would be to wear to this church of prim and proper people. A church of integrity. And the young man says, well, sir, I did. And the preacher said, well, what did he say? And the young man said, he didn't have a clue because he'd never been to this church.
Let's take this opportunity to invite you. We're going to party, you can lose your blues. You're invited and don't hesitate. It's on Main Street by the Berta Gates. There's a party going on. There's a party going on. There's a party going on. Up round on the God. You can stand by the rock if your name's on the road. The greatest story that's ever been told. Saints stand up, don't sit down. All God's children be just around. There's a party going on. There's a party going on. There's a party going on. Up round the throne of God.
When you gave your life to Christ, you said something. Now, I don't know what words you used, but basically what you said is you said to God, today my life is not my own. Today my life belongs to you.
Yeah.
I will worship you with all
Vegas. You know why? Because they're ashamed of what happens in Vegas. What happens on Iron Mountain? Should it stay on Iron Mountain? Well, there are two things that need to stay on Iron Mountain. I thought of that last night, but what God is doing here needs to spread throughout the country and throughout the world. So don't keep it just here. Take it home with you.
One more time, your kingdom.
And many of you might be going through a very trying time in your life right now, where you're asking yourself questions. There were two questions that popped up on the board there that said, what is God doing in your generation, and what is your past? What God is doing in your generation. Find reasons for being involved rather than excuses uninvolved.
We're so glad that you're here. We welcome you. I'm taking over because I can talk.
What is it profit a man if he gains the world and loses his family? I am very pleased to love and respect my family. God called, God anointed things. But we have to make sure that we are leading this ministry to the calling of God for the ministry of CMA. Not for the calling of God on some other ministry.